Hi everyone, welcome to Module 2, Lesson 1, Data Types or Data Containers, and we're going to look at the tuples. Now, a tuple is declared with round brackets, parentheses. A tuple in a list is kind of the same thing. The only difference is a tuple cannot be changed. So we can think of it as a constant. With variables, we can also declare them as constant, meaning that you can't assign values to it. And a tuple is kind of a data container that you can't change, a constant data container. So let's, for instance, say you have 4 or 5 values that you want as default in your application. They can't be changed by the end user, by the operator, by Python. Then you can declare one variable, a tuple variable, and assign those values to that tuple variable and use it throughout your application. But you cannot change it from an application, from a programming perspective. You can define it before you run your application, but after that, it cannot be changed. Right, let's look at the a tuple. Let's create a new file, call it tuples.py, and let's declare a tuple. So to declare a tuple, give it a name, give the variable a name. So we can say string tuple, and we can give it values. Now remember, a list we declared with square brackets, a tuple we use the round brackets or the parentheses. Let's say example 1, example 2, example 3. Let's just print this. Okay. Let's print this to our console. And we have example 1, 2, and 3. Now, just for argument's sake, let's create a list as well and just see what the differences are. Square bracket and a square bracket, and let's just, for interest's sake, call this a list example 1, list example 2, and list example 3, and then let's print it. String list. Okay, so we have a tuple, the round brackets, the parentheses, and we have a list, the square brackets. Let's look at our comparisons. If we want to print the second word, example 2, we would say for the tuple, and let's do a tuple here just so that we can see the differences, string tuple 1. Remember, our index is 0, 1. And for our list, we have also number 1. And we get the same back. Now let's say we want to change example 2 and list example 2. We want to change that to, let's say, FJ, or let's say Python. With a list, we can do that by saying string list index 1 equals Python. And let's print that again and see if that worked. Okay, so we changed it to Python, and let us just print our variables again. So initially we had that tuple, we had that list, and then we changed the list, example 2, to Python. We haven't done anything with the tuple. Let's change example 2 to Python. So essentially, we just have to change this. And then it should change. Let's run the code. Oh no, we received an error. Why did we get this error? Because the main difference between a tuple and a list is a tuple's values you declare, it's like a constant. You cannot change it like this. If you want to change it, you have to change it before you run your code. So just comment that out because that's not going to work. But we have to change the word here to Python from the start. And that's the only way you can change a tuple's value. So we had that there and we still have that there. We can't change the value. So a tuple you can think of as a constant variable of a data structure. The other nice thing that you can do with a tuple is, let's just remove all these code here. So there's our two data structures. And let's say we want to say we've got a variable here, example 1. And let's call this our string Python. And let's call this example 3. We can say equal to string tuple. So what that would do is, and you can do this only with a tuple, is to say from the string tuple, example 1 will go into the example 1 variable, Python will go into the string py variable, and the example 3 will go into the example 3 variable. And if we print our example 1, our string py, and our example 3 at the end, we'll see we received those values in our variables. So example 1, Python, and example 3. It's a nice way to quickly assign individual items from a tuple to some variables that you would use throughout your application.